Hey, what up there, boxing fans? This is Ronell Higgins, watching Ronell Higgins Boxing Reports. First of all, I'd like to start off by saying, 2017 has started out great for the year of boxing. I mean, at the beginning of the year, we had got Badu Jack versus James DeGale. The undercard was just as good with Gervonta Davis versus Jose Padadra. I mean, it was just a fantastic beginning for the year, and now we're getting more up-and-coming good fights. We're getting Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman, Gennady Golovkin versus Daniel Jacobs, and Earl Spence Jr. versus Kell Brooks. I mean, so far it's just looking good this year, but I want to talk about this up-and-coming fight that we have with Deontay Wilder and Gerald Washington. And first of all, I like to say that this is a I don't know fight, because really Deontay Wilder didn't really train to fight Gerald Washington. It's like, this is like a last minute replacement. Of course, we all know that. And Gerald Washington, he took this fight on a short notice as well. So I just want to see how this is going to play out on Deontay Wilder's side. I wouldn't be surprised if he get dropped in this fight, because number one, he has that his right hand is messed up. He had an operation on it, and all he hurt it in a motorcycle accident. So, and with Gerald Washington, I mean, he's kind of a wild swinging guy. He swings wild. I mean, his defense doesn't look all that sharp, and maybe Deontay Wilder could capitalize off of that. But however, he's just wild, like I said, and he can really bully Deontay Wilder, because I just can't see Deontay Wilder throwing that power hand the way he used to. All right, he might end up injuring it again, so he might try to avoid doing that. So who knows? Maybe he won't be able to keep Gerald Washington off of him. So this right here is something. This is going to be interesting. But however, the undercard of that fight is going to be very, very interesting, and it might just end up stealing the show. All right, now we have Tony Harrison, him and Jarrett Hurd, okay, is going to be fighting for Jermell Charlo's vacant belt, and they just found out this week that they'll be doing that. So let's take a look at these two. All right, now Tony Harrison, he has a good jab and good foot movement, and his defense is okay. He could use some work in that department, because in his fight with Willie Nelson, he was looking sharp with his foot movement. When Willie Nelson threw a wild hook, Tony Harrison just stepped back, and Willie Nelson, Nelson's punch just flew right by him. All right, and in fact, Willie Nelson, he did a 180 spin almost and fell to the canvas, just because he missed the punch. So Tony Harris' defense is okay, like I said, because he was doing a good job against Nelson until he got caught and got knocked out. Okay, so his defense could use some work. I mean, he's not all that slick like Paul Spadafora or Lomachenko or Money Mayweather. He's not like them, but he could use some work. I like the way he used that jab. He sticks and moves and whatnot. And going up against Jarrett Hurd, let's look at his style. Jarrett Hurd, his style, he's Jarrett Hurd, he has a jab, but he's really not committed to it. He likes to leave his left jab, his left hand hanging below his waist. And to me, that's kind of inviting for his opponent to come in. But however, he seems more comfortable doing that because, he's more of an inside fighter style. That's where he's more exciting. And, he can land, those big power shots, to his opponent's body and head and the inside, So like I said, he goes in with his hands down, his left hand below his waist. Really don't have a defense. Like I said before, that's really not his style. Doesn't look like. But I did notice if Jarrett Hurd opponent is hurt and he can't seem to finish that opponent off in that round. The next round, I noticed that Jarrett Hurd will come out there and he'll start boxing. He'll start moving his jab, using his head movement and all. Like in the fight with Jojo Dan, he had Jojo Dan hurt in that fight in the 4th round. However, he couldn't get Jojo Dan up and out of there. So it was like, that whole round he was just punishing him with all these hard body shots and hooks and everything to the head. And believe you me, they was looking, nice, hard, crisps. It looked like Jojo Dan was about to go. But, he didn't. He got to finish the round. About time the 5th round came, Jarrett Hurd came out there boxing, using that jab. Still, he was still keeping his jab, his left hand beneath his waist and whatnot, below his waist, and coming up, jabbing with it and all, until he felt comfortable enough that he could try to get Jojo Dan up out of there again. But he ended up stopping Jojo Dan. I say it was in 6th round, looks like. So yeah, the fight between these two, this is going to be interesting. I really don't know. I will give the edge to Tony Harrison and all, but I don't know. Tony Harrison's chin. What happened against him and Willie Nelson? I don't know. And Jarrett Hurd, he liked to throw the same punches that Willie Nelson likes to throw. So most basically, if Tony Harris really wants this title, he best to tighten up his defense. The year 2017 is great. I really don't know what's up with these sevens, because in 1997 we got a whole lot of good fights. All right, in the year 1997, we got let's see, how many good fights we got. 1997 we had got Nassim Hamed versus Kevin Kelly. We had the Chris Berger versus James Thunder. That was a pretty good fight. Lennox Lewis versus Andrew Galata. Oscar De La Hoya versus Hector Camacho. Montel Griffin versus Roy Jones. The list just go on and on. David Tua versus Ike Abeabuchi. 1997 was a good year. And the year 2007 was a good year. We had got some exciting fights. Let's see what fights we got there. All right, well, in 2007, we got Miguel Cotto versus Shane Mosley, Joe Calzaghe versus Nickel Kessler, Jermaine Teller versus Kelly Pavlik, 1 and 2, Bernard Hopkins versus Winky Wright, Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Money Mayweather. So 2007 was a good year. And now here we are in 2017, and it's coming out to be another good year for boxing. So I'm like, yo, what's up with all these sevens, man? So we have to wait, every 10 years to get, a package of exciting fights in 1 year? Maybe that's what it looks like. Then again, we did have some fights in between. We had the 2001, we had the Hopkins and Trinidad fight and all. So, and other fights besides that. We had the Lennox Lewis versus Tyson fight and whatnot. So, yeah, but it's just that this year, after the drought, we all looking good now. Okay, so my name is Ronell Higgins, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment. I'm out.